The coronavirus continues to isolate and depress many older people, but as time goes on, addressing the unintended consequences of lockdowns and senior isolation are becoming more and more urgent.
I know I have felt my fair share of sadness as many of my activities are canceled, and I miss so many of my friends. Here's Intermountain Healthcare with some things to consider if you're feeling isolated and depressed.
We've been seeing a lot more cases of depression and anxiety since the pandemic started. Patients are just very alone and isolated, and so they are just getting down. The biggest thing we're telling patients is to make sure that they're taking care of themselves and making sure that they're not forgetting about their own health. We want them to remain as active as they can and to socialize with friends, even if it's virtually. Just getting out online or out in person if possible while maintaining that social distancing really helps maintain their sense of worth and keeping them going. So signs and symptoms of depression come up and people don't always realize it. But the biggest symptoms are fatigue, lethargy, just a lack of wanting to do anything. They lose interest in, or pleasure in things that brought them pleasure before. There's usually a lot of headaches, loss of appetite. The biggest complaint that I see a lot of times is loss of sleep and just that inability to get up and move. When it comes to our senior patients, depression and anxiety really cause a lot of health issues. What happens is patients just become so down and they don't take care of themselves. They don't take care of their routine health issues as well. And so their diabetes, their heart issues tend to go untreated, and those tend to cause further health issues down the road and just make it harder for them. Our My Generation clinics have just recently started behavioral health integration. We now have licensed clinical social workers and psychiatric nurse practitioners working in the My Generation clinic, seeing our senior patients, helping them get through not just their depression and anxiety, but all types of mental health issues. We want to make sure that our seniors are taken care of, especially in our My Generation clinics. We look at the whole patient, and it's important to be taking care of them, not just physically, but mentally as well, because it all plays into each other. So we want to make sure that the entire patient is treated. The biggest thing is to talk to your friends and family and see if they're depressed. If you're noticing it in a friend, ask them. There's so much stigma around mental health that people don't want to admit when they have a problem. And having somebody go to them and realize that there is an issue just really helps bring it out into the open and opens the lane for discussion. You want to be there to support them, and you want to encourage them to get help. There's nothing wrong with going and getting help, and have them see their primary care provider, or have them just seek out a behavioral health person if needed.